Do a little adjustment here. Hello, Maestro. Thank you for joining me live. I'm so sorry that I missed last week. I was sick. So if you remember in my last live program, I was mentioning that everyone in my family was sick and I was trying not to get sick. Well, guess what? I got sick and I had the cough and everything, and I'm still not completely 100%. So you might hear a difference in my voice. So I apologize in advance if I have to cough. I will try not to. I have water here. I'm going to try to just speak normally, try to speak a little slower so that I don't make myself get all hyper. Well, thank you again for joining me. Today I want to talk about toxic diet culture. Now, I know that's a subject that sounds like it's a little funny coming from someone like me who's always talking about the Mediterranean diet. But I'm always talking about how the Mediterranean diet is not actually a diet. You know, it's not like an organized diet. It's just a way of eating, the eating habits of people who live in the Mediterranean countries, and how over time they have proven to be helpful. So I'm not actually telling you to diet in a way. I'm just giving you helpful tips about what are the best foods that you can eat for maximum health. And it's really important for heart health and for longevity and for fighting cancer and for all kinds of things. The more studies they do about the Mediterranean diet, the more health benefits they are finding. But today I wanted to talk about diet culture, toxic diet culture. I was watching a program on TV and the women were sitting around talking this, and I thought, you know, this is a really important subject that I think we should address because I do talk about food a lot. And I want you to understand the difference between toxic diet culture and then just talking about health and wellness. So I have my notes over here so I don't forget to say anything. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm talking about. One of the important points, let me take a sip of water so I don't cough right away. One of the important points that these women were making was that the diet industry makes a lot of money, and they make a lot of money off of feeding off of your insecurities and making you feel bad about yourself. And you can see it in magazine ads and television ads and on social media. The model is that everyone is supposed to be as thin and as tiny as possible. And that's just not possible for most people. And that doesn't necessarily equate to health. So the message always is in these television ads, these magazine ads. I know I saw them a lot when I was growing up. I was addicted to magazines. And you start comparing yourself to the women in the ads. You don't realize that they're airbrushed and that they're photoshopped, and you know the images are stretched out, or it's a 14-year-old who's made up to look like an adult, and that's why they look so skinny. You know, it's a whole industry brought about just to make you feel bad. And the message is always that you're not enough, and that's not true. You are enough, and everyone they just make you hate yourself, and it's to try to aspire to an image that is unattainable for most people. And at the same time, ironically, in the United States, we celebrate overconsumption of everything, but we're supposed to be tiny, 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 right? You go to a restaurant and you want to see a large portion on your plate, or you're supposed to shop and shop and shop and shop for beauty products and all the things that you know they make you feel bad about. But then at the same time, they don't want you to actually look like you're using all those things, right? So it's unattainable. So not everyone can be a supermodel, right? So some women are born naturally tall and thin, and that's fine. Maybe they're perfectly healthy. But their job is literally to be a clothes hanger, to stand tall, have broad shoulders, and be very thin so the clothes just hang off of them. And that's not really realistic for most people. So I have been, in my own personal life, whoops, I just tapped my microphone, sorry. I have been anywhere from a size 6 to a size 16. And usually my comfort zone is around size 14, is where I usually settle in. But really, when I feel my best, I'm usually like around a 10. And I hate to put numbers on sizes, like on you know, size numbers on things like that. But it's just a way for you to gauge where you are in your body. The only time that I was ever really, really thin, like a size 6, or even I was bordering on a size 4, was when I was living in New York City and I was so busy running around the city that I just didn't have time to eat. That wasn't really a healthy way to be. My time was so packed that I'd be running around. And in New York, if you ever lived in New York City, you walk everywhere, you're on the go constantly. And I lost a lot of weight at that time, but I'm not actually sure that I was that healthy, and I was much, much younger. I usually settle in around 14. I would like to be smaller than that, just for the way that clothes fit on me and for my own personal health reasons. I feel better. My blood pressure is better when I'm thinner. But I don't want to do it for some unrealistic ideal. And I'm short. So the taller you are, the more calories you can eat in a day because your body naturally burns them off. And I'm short, so I can't take in as many calories as someone who's, I'm only 5'4". So someone who's 5'8" can eat a lot more in a day than me. I once saw Nicole Kidman on a television program, and the women were asking her, she was on The View, and they were asking her what she eats. And she's like, I eat anything I want. And they're like, come on, you don't eat anything you want. You're Nicole Kidman. She said, I am 6 feet tall. I can eat anything I want. So she has a lot of body mass where she can burn calories off. So don't try to be a zero, okay? Just be what your body is naturally. Learn to think about listening to your body and knowing what it is feeling inside. Because who wants to be a size zero anyway? That means you're nothing, right? Don't be afraid to take up space in the world. That's my mantra for the day. So that's why I teach all the time that the Mediterranean diet is not a diet. It's about just learning to eat things that make your body feel good, to get better numbers when you go to your doctor because you're eating a certain way, and it's all about vegetables and fresh and seasonal food and eating naturally the way that our ancestors did before there were so many overprocessed convenience foods on the market. And I'm going to take a sip of water because I can hear my voice going. I once saw the comedian Roseanne Barr. She was doing a comedy routine, and she said, half the world is starving and the other half is trying to lose weight. And it's so true. And it's not really funny when you think about it because half the world is starving. And then there are places like North America where we overconsume everything and we're all trying to lose weight all the time. And we have such abundance. So we should think about that a little bit. So I want to talk about how people treat people who are overweight because I've had this happen to me myself where you're walking down the street and just some random stranger says something about like, says something about like being fat. And I'm just like, where did that come from? And I was 50 pounds lighter than I am now. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you even talking to me? I have an acquaintance that I met online, and she said, I'm so tired of people telling me, but you have such a pretty face. As if like you don't have a pretty face because you're fat, and she was just like, I have issues of I would like to lose some weight, but that doesn't mean that I can't be attractive at any size that I am. And there's always, you can be healthy at any size. There are people who are really skinny who are not healthy, and there are people who are overweight who are perfectly healthy, what we would consider overweight. I have to be careful about the language that I'm using here. So let's talk about some of the diet programs, the weight loss programs that are on the market. So even plans that seem super friendly and supportive like Weight Watchers, the great thing about Weight Watchers is it brings people together in a community and they support each other in their health journey. The bad thing I find about something like Weight Watchers is they tell you to count points. So they assign points to all your foods as if there are good foods and bad foods. And if you're adding up your points, instead of just listening to your body and when it's hungry, if you're adding up points throughout the day, you're just putting a value on everything that you eat. And like a monetary value almost on everything that you eat. And then you obsess with food all day long. So I found this myself when I was starting to use some calorie tracking apps. I like to use calorie tracking apps just to gauge where I am. But there was a time when I used to use them and put everything that I was eating in every single day. And then, so you see how many calories you have left for the day. And you're thinking, oh, how many calories is this food? Can I eat this before I go to bed? And, how many did I burn today? And then you just end up obsessing over food all day long instead of just being natural about it and learning to listen to your body, knowing when it needs energy and feeding it for energy, knowing when it needs a little pleasure and giving it a little pleasure. So be careful of those kinds of things. I think diet apps can be fun when you are tracking just to see where you are. Like if you're just starting out, to write down everything you ate one day and then see what kind of nutrition you were getting and see how many calories you ate the day. So you can just gauge where you are in your life. Like I know for me, if I want to lose weight, I have to not go over about 1,200 calories a day. And that seems really little, but like I said, I'm short. I came up with that number with my doctor, and then someone who was taller than me maybe can eat 1,800 calories a day. But don't obsess over it. Like learn, use the app for maybe a day or two to learn what 1,200 calories looks like for you. And then you'll just learn how to do it on your own. And if you're feeling a little low energy, eat a banana or something, So Okay. This is going to be a rant. I hope this doesn't sound like a rant. Next, I wanted to address intermittent fasting because that's a big thing now. But basically, intermittent fasting is people asking you to starve yourself for a period of time in the day, and that's just not right. And they say that it helps with weight loss. And me, naturally, I don't get up right away, and I haven't eaten anything yet today. I got up and I had some water, and I usually start with coffee, and I don't eat until a little bit later in the day. But that's just the natural way that my body likes to behave, and the way that I like to live my day. I'm not doing it on purpose. I guess it's sort of like almost like an accidental intermittent fasting. But they're telling you now to get up and don't eat until 1 or 2 o'clock in the day. All you're doing is really skipping a meal. So of course you're going to eventually lose weight. But what does your energy feel like? And maybe, like, for me, that's natural. For other people, maybe they have to eat breakfast in the morning or they don't function. So, just take these things with a grain of salt when you hear somebody telling you to do intermittent fasting. It's the new fad thing. The one that really gets on me the most is low carb diets, because low carb diets, like the Atkins diet and Power Plus or whatever all those things are called, keto, they were designed originally for people who are morbidly obese. Now, obesity is actually a clinical issue. It doesn't mean that you're fat. Obese is something that your doctor can tell you based on, a scale of your weight and your body, personal to you. It was created for people who have diabetes and who needed to control their weight in a rapid way, or people who needed to lose weight because they were really at a breaking point with their body. People took the Atkins plan had a 2-week thing where it would give you a kickstart, and then you're supposed to go into maintenance. People took that 2-week plan and were using it just to lose weight, and it can work for a little bit, but I have tried it myself. I have tried all these diets, so that's why I'm speaking from experience. I remember trying the Atkins diet and just feeling, after a few days, so weak and so tired. I remember I was stuck in traffic one day driving home from work, and I couldn't even keep my foot down on the brake pedal because my leg felt so weak. And I went home and then I just ate because I was just like, this is not right. There's something wrong with this. So anything that is telling you to take out an entire food group like carbs, you need carbs for your body to run. Carbs are the energy that we run off of. And there are good carbs and there are bad carbs. So a donut is a bad carb, obviously. It's full of sugars, and sugars are carbohydrates. But then there are carbs in everything practically that you eat. So good carbs would be in fruit. They would be in whole grains. They would be in beans. They're going to be in everything that's healthy that you eat. So be careful about things like low carb diets. That's not the right way. It seems to have become a national pastime that, if you're on a diet, you have to do low carb. And it's really not the healthy way to be. It's really actually unhealthy. And then there are diets which talk about clean eating, which basically make you think about good and bad foods. So you feel bad if you're eating something that's not considered clean, and what does clean eating mean anyway? What does it mean? It's just a buzzword, a marketing term. And then there are plans that talk about intuitive eating. Really, and intuitive eating is just another way for disordered eating. So what I'm trying to teach in my programs is to just learn to listen to your body. Because even things like smoothies and juicing and things like that, they can be healthy if you make it a meal replacement. I enjoy a smoothie now and then. But there are people who go on smoothie diets, and really it's another way of making you feel bad, saying don't eat. You're bad if you eat, you have to drink your food instead. It's just another message that makes you feel bad about yourself, which compounds the issues that you're having around your body and your weight. Okay, so what else do I have to say on this subject? Because a lot of times people say, okay, if you're not, we have a lot of body positivity messages and out in the thing saying, we shouldn't fat shame people. I totally believe that. And then the people will turn it around and say, well, you're just promoting obesity if you're not telling people to go on a diet, or to watch their weight. So there are just so many issues around this topic. So many messages that get bombarded, we get bombarded with constantly, about what we should and should not do. And Maestro is saying Mediterranean diet. Yes, Maestro, the Mediterranean diet is the way to go. And that's why I always say I wish we could come up with a different word for it. I like to call it the Mediterranean lifestyle. I don't like to call it a diet because it's not like, the Scarsdale diet or the South Beach diet. It's not something like that. We're always taught that skinny is right, but very few people can be really skinny, and skinny does not really equate with health. So just think about When you are thinking about losing weight, I'm not saying you shouldn't try to lose weight if you want to. If you want to feel better, if you want to be at your maximum health, maybe you do need to lose weight. Maybe you need to gain weight, depending on who you are as an individual. Just think about food. It's fuel for your body. It's a pleasure. It's a way that we share our moments with other people in our lives. Part of the Mediterranean diet is sharing your meals with your family and friends and making it an enjoyable experience. Food should be something that is a joyous part of your life. It shouldn't be something that you're fretting about all day. How much can I eat? How much can I not eat? And like I said, don't be afraid to take up space in the world. We shouldn't be trying to make ourselves so tiny that we're afraid to even exist. Okay, so that is my rant on toxic diet culture. Celebrate your body. Enjoy your body as it is, because people can be healthy at any size. And if you do feel like you need to lose weight, that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you right now. It just means that, maybe you want to start eating a little healthier. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, or that you're a bad person, or that you're over consuming or anything. There are lots of reasons why people gain weight. There could be hormone issues. There could be just age. There's just society. There's what, your school lunch feeds you. There's all kinds of reasons about food and now I'm just starting to get off topic. So celebrate your body, enjoy your body as it is, and if you want to make it a little healthier, eat vegetables. That is my rant over for the day. Hey, my voice is holding out. I'm really proud of that. I was afraid I was going to cough. Okay, so let's go on to my next topic. I wanted to share with you, I'd like to share with you products that I'm using from time to time. I'm not sponsored by these products. They're just things that I'm enjoying. And I have two body butters here that I'm really enjoying right now. They're very reflective. So I wanted to talk about body butter because I am always dry, especially in the wintertime. And these are both by a company called Perlier. This one is an olive oil body cream. Let me show you. It smells so good. It's super, super rich. Like you can see, it's not going to come out of this package. It's really, really thick, and I'm actually going to put some on right now. I usually use this. My hands get super, super dry in the wintertime, and especially ever since COVID, I've been wiping everything down with, antibacterial wipes and things like that, and they really get dry. And I put this on before I go to bed, and it just smells so good. And you can put it all over your body. I usually just use it on my hands or maybe like on my heels. And then when I went to reorder, this is my third one that I've been going through. When I went to reorder, they were having a buy one, get one sale. So I tried a different one. Which is also the same company. But this one has a very light rose scent, and it's much thinner, as you can see. Like if I turn this upside down, it might come out. Well, maybe not. But it's much thinner, and I feel like it's more appropriate for all over your body. So I put this on my legs and my arms, and it just has a very, very light rose smell. I love the smell of roses, but sometimes rose products can be really strong and cloying, but this is really nice. It's really light. It smells lovely. So I usually use this one during the day and the other one when I'm going to bed. So if you have dry skin like me, you might want to try some body butters. You can even make your own body butter. You can buy shea butter and whip it up with, like when you beat something in the kitchen, you can use your hand mixer. Maybe put a couple drops of essential oil in it and whip it together and make your own body butter. I've done that myself too. So let's see. Does anyone have any questions about anything we've been talking about? How many diets have you been on in your life? One time I was watching Oprah, and Oprah was always about diet culture. And she had a scroll that was going up on her screen with every diet she's ever tried in her life. Like the cabbage soup diet. Did you ever try the cabbage soup diet? So I've tried a lot of diets in my day. And when you're younger, they can be really effective if you try a diet for a week just because, you're 14 and you're trying to lose weight before you go to a party. But when you're my age and you're in your 50s and you try to do something like that, it's not going to make a dent, right? So your best option is to just eat healthy, learn to listen to your body. So learn to listen to when you're full when you're at the table. So you shouldn't stuff yourself at a meal, but you should just stop eating when you're not hungry anymore. And if you feel that your energy is going down throughout the day, maybe you need a little snack. I meal? What does that mean, Maestro? I meal. So just learn to be more in tune with your body. Meal prep. You meal prep. Is that what you're trying to say? Meal prep can help a lot because if you are feeling a little low and you just need to grab something quick, you can, if you have some vegetables already chopped up in the refrigerator or something that you did earlier, it makes a really quick meal. Or like I talked about, we did meal prep one of the other weeks that we were talking about how I prepare grains and things and roasted vegetables earlier during the week. And then if you are feeling a little low, you can just go in and you can put something together really quickly. And just making sure that you have food around. I like to keep bananas in the house so that if I do start to feel a little low, sometimes I grab a banana. Or sometimes if I get up and I wanted to go to the gym first thing in the morning, I don't like to go in the gym completely empty. So sometimes I'll eat a banana before I go to the gym. And you just learn to, because I know that when I get to the gym, I learn to listen to my body. And if I'm on the treadmill or something and I haven't eaten anything that day, I start to feel a little, like, I can just feel it in my body and I need a little bit of boost of energy before I go to the gym. That is all I have for you today. Stop worrying about all the diet messages that you're getting bombarded with in the media, and stop comparing yourself to anyone on social media that you see who happens to be, small. Maybe their photo is edited. Maybe they're not really that healthy. Maybe they're eating their feelings every day as soon as the camera is turned off. So you never know what anyone is going through. You never know who is healthy and not healthy at whatever body type and body size that they are at the time. So just try to learn to eat in a natural way, like the Mediterranean diet. And that's what my programs are all about. So I hope that you found this video helpful. I'm so happy to be back and not be sick anymore. And I will see you next week. Bye.